Welcome back to the Inner Alchemist TV. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a love reading for Yo Gotti and Angela Simmons. So I just saw I think I was on Twitter, and I saw that Yo Gotti and Angela Simmons broke up. There was a lot of speculation about maybe some cheating going on. A lot of people were confused because they said he chased her for 7 years and put her name in a song. So everybody was confused about why he just up and decided to break up with her. So I decided to go ahead and pull some cards and do a reading. So before we get started, please like this video. Also make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and that you have your notification bells on. Also check out my Etsy store, the Inner Alchemist. The link is in the description of the video, as well as on the community wallboard, where a lot of my products are listed as well. So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right in. So the first thing that struck me interesting about this reading is that I show that Yo Gotti, he has a bit of player energy, but he's also very much so a romantic. But he does not have the staying power for relationships. In fact, he's actually caught up on a person from the past that he loves very deeply. I think this may be a Sagittarius from his childhood. So as far as who has his heart, I show that he's already given that away. So as far as what he's creating or what he does with other people, it's only so much that they can go far with him because somebody else already has his heart. Now this relationship with Angela, it looks like it fell into his lap. You know, I'm showing that when he chased her, he never really assumed that he was going to get her. But some type of unexpected situation happened. Maybe they ended up in the same place. And it just happened. So it was not something that he was prepared for. Even though he seemed to be shooting his shot, he was still pretty much oblivious about her. He wasn't doing research on her. He wasn't truly stalking her. It's just that when the opportunity came about, he started to contemplate it, and then he was like, let me give it a go. Now, because he put his name in her song, or put her name in his song, it's possible that he even just put himself on her radar and made her start to look at him more intently. Even though I don't even think that's the case so much. I show that Angela had a motivation because she was having some type of legal problems and her money was short. I'm going to just keep it to you like that. It looks like at the time she was getting with him, she didn't have a lot going for herself. She was lacking in kind of like spirituality, or just feeling like in a spiritually destitute type of mind frame. Her finances were low. And he came rushing in with like this sexual energy and this charm. And he had this certain bravado about him that was intriguing, especially because he chased her, quote unquote. But more importantly, he seemed like a man of action, and he seemed adventurous. And this kind of brought her out of like I said, a spiritual destitution, but even pretty much like a depression or a general feeling of being bored with life, which is not uncommon if you have somebody that's having money problems, because a lot of things that they're used to doing is obviously not available to them if their money is low. You know what I mean? So Yo Gotti came in and he was impulsive. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think this opportunity just came to him because when he was quote unquote shooting his shot, he wasn't putting a lot of thought into it, but it literally fell into his lap. And that's pretty much how the relationship was unfolding, or how they actually got together. Now, at some point, Angela requested that he not embarrass her. You know what I mean? Like, that was her only request. Neither one of them were coming in on this on some love type shit. You know, this relationship was basically based on pride. It was based on money. And it was based on kind of pulling either one, it looks like Angela more than likely out of a dark space or a dark hole in her life, but it was not a love relationship. But she did have one request of him, which was that he not embarrass her or humiliate her or cause her any strife. So it's almost like when he rushed in and he was, trying to get with her, it was like she was like, she felt like she had kind of like the upper hand in a way, but she didn't take advantage of him from that perspective. But from her vantage point, she was more so like, okay, I'm gonna give you a try, but don't humiliate me and don't embarrass me. And it looks like obviously he may have done that in some type of levels or another. And she has some kind of resentment towards him for that, because that's all she asked. She wasn't even really asking that he be faithful to her, or that he, she just asked that he not publicly embarrass her. You know what I mean? I don't know if he maybe has some resentment towards her as well. I'll clarify that a little bit later. Now, I'm showing, like I said, Gotti has a thing for somebody in his past. He's very tied to somebody that he's known for a long time, maybe even a child's mother or somebody that he has kids with, or he's connected to somebody's children. I think this, like I said, maybe a Sagittarius. And it looks like he's known this person maybe even since he was young or before he made it big. Now, Angela is coming across as more of like a trophy. You know what I mean? I'll show that he took great pride in having her, but she knew that, and he knew that. And there's a bit of an element to it where it was more so like a sexual conquest. And when he was pursuing her, it was not with love. He did not simp for her. He did not make professions about how he's been thinking about her or dreaming about her his whole life. He simply just came with a lot of masculine energy and a lot of promise. It was like a thrill. You know how like somebody could go into thrill seeking? It was like a thrill seeker type of energy from her side, because she was bored, because she was broke, because she was having legal problems. And he just seemed not to take himself serious, not to take his life serious. And he definitely doesn't take money seriously. So it was not an issue for him to kind of dull that out. What's more important for him, like I said, is his heart and his loyalty. So he doesn't do that with his sexual conquest or with women that he's trying to conquer. So love and loyalty were never the topic of discussion for this couple. You know what I mean? So I want to make that very clear. Like I said, I think Angela was more so of a trophy, because I feel like his reputation received some type of upgrade, and he took a lot of pride in that. He kind of stepped into the role, but at the same time he felt like he had to pretend a lot just to keep up with this relationship. And I think that may have to do with the fact that they had an agreement for him not to embarrass or humiliate her. So it's almost like the things that he would do to conduct his life in normal, he had to be kind of more secretive about it, or more, or more tamed down, or whatever, dumbed down. But sometimes you have women that will trick men. And I'm not saying that she did trick him. I'm saying, but will trick men to being faithful because they have to protect that woman's reputation or something like that, right? And so by her saying, just don't embarrass me, just don't humiliate me, it's really her asking him to control his public image when it comes to dealing with her, even though she didn't mind him having like the sexual conquest, and she knew that he had multiple sexual conquests, or that he was a player, or that he had a lot of women that he was dealing with. And like I said, also a main woman. I would even go as far as to say he has a wife and kids tucked away somewhere. I'm not sure if he's married or not. I honestly don't know a lot about Yo Gotti. I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan. Obviously I liked his song Down in the DMs, but I'm not like a super fan. I'm not a fan of anybody. Maybe the Lord and maybe some of the spirits, but I'm not fanatic about couples and things. But obviously they have visibility, so I know who they are. I know Nicki Minaj, I know Summer Walker and Meech. I know what is going on, but I'm not really like their fan person. You know what I mean? So I don't know too much about him. If it's public information that he has a wife or not, I'm not sure. But he's coming up as a husband in his love energy. And like I said, that could either be just a loyal relationship that he's had for a very long time, or he has an actual wife and kids somewhere. And I would go as far as to say she was a Sagittarius. She could be a Libra, or he could be a Libra, but I think it's a Sagittarius. Now, again, I think, like I said, Angela, I think their agreement was more so, it was more so like a public thing. It was more so him, elevating his image through his association with her, or maybe even taking the tinge off of his reputation a bit. He's coming through as somewhat of like a conqueror. He has a lot of violent industry, and his reputation is that of being like a little bit cutthroat and playing like mental games with people. And I don't know, even coming across as like a bit of a troll. I almost get the impression like his style in the public is one of dominance, you know what I mean? But he's the dominant figure that likes to toy with his food. I'm honestly getting a little bit of Aries energy as well from this Knight of Wands card, even though I have it paired with the Five of Swords. I feel like that's giving me like Aries energy, you know what I'm saying, where he feels like he's an intellectual superior to a lot of the people around him, but at the same time, his action, his impulsiveness, he has some type of bravado in him that's very underdeveloped, or very not confident, and it leads to impulsive actions that end him in like, various beefs or whatever. But he manages to come out the winner in a lot of situations. He's coming out as a winner. But as far as, like I said, emotions and the heart and home, he has values when it comes to that. He does. But in the public persona, I'm not sure about that. He's not, and again, like I said, he's not above these kind of sexual conquests, and there's nothing to be surprised there. Now, also show that Angela kind of got with him because she was curious. You know what I mean? She was curious to see what it do. Listen, it don't take much for you to be curious about what a nigga want to do. He say he got that good dick, you want to see what that good dick will do. He say he on your dick, you want to see how far the nigga go. Like, let's be clear, you know what I mean? The toxic combination of this nigga who's coming across emotionally as a king, that romanticism with this energy of this Knight of Wands, this pure sexual energy, coupled with his street reputation, yeah, that's a fucking tonic. That's a dick tonic. That's something that is definitely going to want to make you curious to see what it's given. Now, does he have that big dick energy in real life? I don't know. Maybe that's something that we could look into, because he definitely sold her on the quote unquote vision of what it meant to be, Yo Gotti. Now it looks like, I don't know if she relocated to live with him, or if she got closer to him, or maybe she's going to be moving. Somebody's going to be moving away. Maybe she's going to be going back home, or maybe he's even going back home. Like I said, his home life is very prominent in this reading. So like I said, maybe he was missing his home, because we have the Six of Cups here. So he may have missed being connected, miss being connected to his kids. Maybe just this shit that was going on in the public. There was no balance. It's almost like he was leaning more towards his conquest, more towards his public representation with Angela, and he was kind of neglecting what he had at home, and there wasn't any balance. So I have the Six of Swords here. So I think he's maybe traveling to go back home, to go be with this long-term wife, girlfriend, chick, baby's mother, and kind of see about them a little bit, right? Now, I show that the separation, if there was one, this was unexpected. Even though they didn't really have problems in their relationship, so I don't feel like it was something that was on the rocks, or it was something that how you have the four horsemen of the relationship apocalypse. You argue, you have contempt, you devalue each other, you go through all that. They didn't go through shit together. They did not have an emotional relationship at all. They enjoyed each other. They had good sex. He helped her with some money issues, some legal issues. She has money problems, or had money problems, and that's what it was based on. But like I said, I think that he was getting he's a lover at heart. He really is. And he's very, very attached. And I think that maybe he has some imbalance when it came to his public persona, and he just up and decided like, okay, I want to go back. I want to go back to my heart, back home. You know what I mean? So like I was saying, if they didn't have problems, so if they did break up, it was just because it was unexpected. He just unexpectedly wanted to be back in the company of his own heart. You know what I mean? He's a lover at heart. You know what I mean? So like I said, I show that the relationship came as a surprise to them if it was broken up. Like I said, I think there's a marriage. I have the Two of Cups here. I think that him and Angela Simmons are really good friends. You know what I mean? I think that they came together and they had an understanding. I think that they have an understanding now. I don't think there's a lot of broken heart or hurt feelings. But I'm also showing Angela has a need to be strong. You know what I mean? I feel like she has some self-esteem issues. And I feel like she was just kind of impatient to find or to wait for the right person to come along. So, like I said, her motivation for going into this had nothing to do with the quote-unquote heart. It just has to do with the fact that she has some money problems and she wasn't really feeling herself, just looks-wise, just her status in the world. You know, she was just insecure and a little bit weak. Now, from that perspective, it looks like she may have even known that he had a long-term relationship that he was really involved in. Or that he has somebody that he loved, and she didn't care because she does not have like a high self-esteem about herself. She doesn't. But through his investment in her and what he poured into her, she may have grown into this, because I am showing like a little bit of her taking a little bit of more pride in herself, but it may be just that. It may have been only pride and nothing else. You see what I'm saying? Now, she probably has potential to be successful over time. Like I said, her pride did develop a little bit, and so did his. But again, it wasn't because of love, or it wasn't because of like a deep emotional fulfillment. It's just that she, I don't know, learned how to dress better. She had a little bit more access to more money. Her little confidence got a little bit brighter, and that's almost what he came for. He did it out of love for her as a person and humanity. Like I said, he's coming across as a very, very loving individual, but it wasn't necessarily because I'm so sprung or I'm so in love with her. You see what I'm saying? Now, Yo Gotti, I don't know, he has a lot of enemies. He has a lot of people around him that are jealous of him. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were people who like sabotaged his reputation or are trying to give him a bad rap for this whole situation. But everybody knew what was going on. This wasn't no betrayal type of situation. Everything was laid out. As far as the type of person he was, his role, what he could provide, what he wasn't, who he's down with, what he's not. He's a very upfront and honest guy, and it's like either you can participate or you can't. But for the most part, like I said, this was just a public relationship. I think he felt a little stifled because he was having to protect from embarrassing or humiliating her publicly to the expense of his real life and his natural inclination to move how he wants to move, whether that be in a violent way, because like I said, he's tinged with violence, he's tinged with mental manipulation and power plays and things like that. And it was almost like he had to appear in the public like with his romantic husband side, but that wasn't his wife. You know what I mean? So it was not a comfortable position for necessarily him to be in. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm showing about that. Now I don't know what is the final straw that broke the camel's back, but it looks like there's some type of legal situation that's about to happen, or maybe, I don't know, maybe one or both of them got involved in a legal situation. It could be Angela, or it could be him, but it looks like she came in with a legal situation, or the two of them may end up having some type of legal battle with each other. You know what I mean? The Four of Pentacles popped out. That's usually the card of holding on or trying to retain some of your riches. You know what I mean? Or just kind of being selfish. So maybe towards the end of the relationship, he started to pull back a little bit, and start to kind of like cut her off. you know, cut off her finances or cut off her financial access to him. And maybe, listen, maybe that could be the reason they broke up. Like, let's be clear. Like, if you're in it because a man is showing you a good time and spending money on you, and he tries to change that, or he tries to start breadcrumbing you or cutting back your allowance or whatever it is that you feel like he was there to provide for you, then yeah, you know what I mean? It could pretty much, you know, be on the way out. But it is possible that he may have been doing that because he was on his way home. You know what I mean? It's very possible that he was doing that because he was on his way home. So that's what I got for these two. As far as that relationship is concerned, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.